So these, I believe, are some math knowledge ones that you guys sent in. So this one says, two parallel lines are intersected by a third line, which is perpendicular to the first parallel line. The value of another angle made by the intersecting lines is, wow, okay. There's a lot of vocab here. So one of the first things that catches my attention is that they mention parallel lines and they mention intersected and then they mention perpendicular. Those are some big math words. So let's talk about them a little bit. So parallel means two lines that are going right next to each other and they never cross. It's like the railroads. Like they're never going to just randomly go crack. No, they're going to never touch each other. So you have two parallel lines. Intersected is a really fancy word for crossing. So you have two parallel lines. So let's say these two lines right here. They're never going to cross. And parallel lines are symbolized by like these little matching tattoos. They're like little arrows that they have in the middle. And they're intersected. In other words, they're crossed by a third line. And they mentioned that that third line is perpendicular. Perpendicular means that when the line crosses, it creates a beautiful 90-degree angle. So it's going to cross exactly like wham, across. And it forms a perfect, beautiful 90-degree angle. Wherever it touches another line, it's forming a 90-degree angle. So the value of another angle made by the intersecting line is, well, the intersecting line is creating beautiful 90-degree angles. So that would be your answer. So it's a very straightforward problem. What it requires is you understanding the vocabulary of like what's parallel, what's perpendicular, and what's intersecting. So again, parallel means, parallel, I like to think of it as like the two L's in the middle. They never cross. Never cross each other. Perpendicular is the complete opposite. Perpendicular. Perpendicular is the complete opposite. It crosses and forms 90-degree angles. And like I said, intersected is a fancy word for crossing. Okay? So, are we clear with that one? Are there any questions? Anything that confuses you? Nope. Okay. Cool. Next one. So the next one says that given that x is equal to 0.5 and y is equal to 4, what is the value of 4x squared times 2y plus 2? Well, we're going to just substitute here. Anywhere I see x, I'm going to put 0.5, so I'm going to put that here. And anywhere I see y, I'm going to put 4, which means I'm going to put a 4 here. So let's rewrite this problem. We're going to have 4 times x is 0.5. That's going to be taken to the second power times 2 times 4 plus 2. And now we need to use what? What process should I do here? Anybody?
So,
PEMDAS, yes. We're going to use order of operations, which means we're going to go through PEMDAS. Beautiful. So PEMDAS states that first we start with the parentheses. So looking inside the parentheses, what should I do first? Should I multiply first or should I add first?
multiply first.
Multiply first. So I'm going to write everything else exactly the same because nothing has been done to it. Excuse me. So 2 times 4, thank you. 2 times 4 is going to be 8 plus 2. All right, we still have a parenthesis, so now we need to take care of that. What are we going to get here? 8 plus 2?
10.
10. All right, parentheses is dealt with. I still kept the parentheses there just to remind me that there is a multiplication going on there, but we're pretty much done with anything inside the parentheses. What is next after parentheses in PEMDAS?
Exponent.
Exponent. So we're going to need to take care of this 0.5 squared, which is going to be 0.5 times 0.5. That's going to be 5, carry the 2, that's going to be 2, that's going to be 0. So that's going to be 0.25. So it's going to be 4 times 0.25 times 10. And now all that's left is multiplication. And you're supposed to do pendes from left to right. But because we have multiplication only, like there's just a bunch of numbers multiplying, you do have a little bit of freedom of multiplying this however order you want. It doesn't really make a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and just multiply 4 times 0.25 first. So 4 times 0.25 is going to be 20, carry the 2, 8 plus 2 is 10, carry the 1, and that's going to be 1. So this is going to equal to 1 times 10. So your answer is going to be 10. So again, you're just going through pendes. You're just going through the order of operations, which is always parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, and you always go from left to right. Just like when you read a book, you go from left to right, same order you're going to do it. Any questions on this one? Nope. Okay. Next one. The area of a circle is given by 24 pi. What is its radius? Okay, so what is the area formula for a circle?
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared. So we're going to have the radius to the second power times pi, or if you want to put pi in the front, it's fine. Doesn't make a difference. All right, so they tell me that the area is equal to 24 pi. So I'm going to plug that in. So 24 pi is supposed to equal to the radius squared times pi. And our job is to figure out what is r. So let's try to get r alone, starting with getting rid of pi. Right now, pi is multiplying. So what would I do to get rid of it?
Divide.
Divide on both sides. And just like that, pi is gone and we don't need to worry about it. So we're going to have that 24 is equal to the radius squared. And again, our job is to get the radius. So right now I have a power of 2. The opposite of a power of 2 would be a square root. So I'm going to do the square root here and here. The square root and the power cancel, leaving me with just r is equal to the square root of 24. Now, this is 1000% mathematically correct. But if you look at your answer choices, the square root of 24 is not there. Why? Because they just simplified the square root. So let's simplify the square root of 24. I want you to tell me, what two numbers can I multiply to get 24, and one of them has to be a perfect square?
Six and 4.
6 times 4. Yes. So this is going to be the same thing as the square root of 4 times the square root of 6. But I know that the square root of 4 is just 2. So I'm going to separate this. This is going to be the same thing as the square root of 4 times the square root of 6, which is going to equal to 2 square root of 6. And that's going to be your final answer. This is what we called a simplified radical. So this is,
So you don't simplify the 6.
well, you can't. There's no two numbers you can multiply times. There are no factors of 6 that are perfect squares, because the only way to get to 6 is 2 times 3, and 2 is not a perfect square and 3 is not a perfect square.
Got it.